I arrived in Malig just the nick of time, jumped onto the boat and they untied and off we went. And we're just motoring gently out of the harbour now.
11 AM Friday. I didn't put the other time on, but you know if you miss that one, it'll be 3.
Okay, thank you very much. We're about halfway through the crossing over to Knoydart, and the mountains are rising up above the little tiny hamlet of Inverary, looking pretty huge, pretty remote. I don't imagine I'm going to be sharing the mountaintop with many other people. I really like heading out to places with no plan of what to do. I've got no idea where I'm going to go. I want to go and sample Britain's remotest pub, the Old Forge Inn. And I'd like to spend one night up high up on the mountains. I've got off the little boat into Knoydart and I sat on the bench outside the Old Forge pub and I got out my map and I unfolded it properly for the first time and started to make a plan. And I'm suffering, as I always do when I arrive in somewhere wild, with my impatient side that sees me wanting to dash off and straight away, and so I'm willfully now trying to counter that and to force myself just to slow down and just to relax and to enjoy being in this really wild place. There's a campsite, people who want to camp in a central location. It's a pretty nice place, but I don't need any of that because there's all these mountains and there's Scotland's fantastic laws of the right to roam. I'm going to make the most of them tonight. It's lovely down here in the woodland by the shore, but it's not really much nicer than loads of other similar places around Britain. I think really the draw of this place is that it's so hard to get to that you can't get here by road, and that there's no phone signal, and that just forces life to be a bit more difficult and a bit slower. And I think when those things happen in my life, when things are slow, when things are difficult, they're the times I appreciate most, and they're also things that I find it hard to manage. I think I've spent too long in and around London, racing madly around. I'm out of the village now, tiny village. The smell of cut grass and newly creosoted fences, the optimistic people hoping that summer's coming at last. One thing that I've been thinking walking around here this afternoon is, would I really like to live here? And it seems so perfect for me in many ways, but I suspect, knowing my nature, that if I lived here, I'd stop climbing hills, I'd stop swimming in the loch, I'd stop doing these sort of things. And I think that's probably a bit of human nature. If you live in London, you think living up in Knoydart will solve all of your problems and you'll live this idyllic life, writing great novels, running up mountains, but the reality of human nature, I suspect, is otherwise. So I think for most people the best we can do is to just live the normal lives we live in the normal places we live, and spend a little bit of time dreaming of the wild places and a little bit of time making the effort to get out into the wild places and climbing mountains and sleeping on hills and swimming in lochs. And that's the fix. That's enough for now. I'm heading due east. The sun's setting directly behind me. It's casting a massive shadow along this little narrow track, and I wave at myself and my shadow waves back, and I just rounded the corner now and this great massive glen opens out in front of me. It's an extraordinary wild sight and a great feeling to know that I am the only person out here. All of this, for tonight at least, is mine. What a privilege to be out here. It's just me and the skylarks and a cuckoo and plenty of red deer and this river, which is beautiful, and got about an hour of daylight left, and hopefully once I reach the crest up here I should see in front of me a loch, and hopefully next to the loch there'll be a lovely little flat grassy patch beckoning me with my sleeping bag and bedtime. I'm starting to feel pretty tired, and here's the loch. Oh, it's huge. Wow, fantastic. What a great spot for a bivvy and a night's sleep. This is gorgeous. Oh, I couldn't have timed that any better. It's absolutely bucketing down. It's hailing, and I've 1 minute ago climbed under my tarpaulin for the night. I was planning to bivvy up here. I'd much prefer bivvying, but when the weather's foul, a night in a bivvy bag is truly horrible. So the step up from that is to have a small little tarpaulin, and thank goodness I did. I've snuggled down into my sleeping bag, feeling pretty warm so far. I'm feeling dry. It's going to be a pretty grim night tonight, and I'm going to get some sleep now. I woke up in a big puddle this morning. The weather was absolutely foul in the night and continues to be so this morning. So I imagine it's going to be pretty ferocious up on the tops. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to get up there today. First though, is the always slightly unpleasant task of packing up at the soaking wet camp, shoving everything in the packs and getting back out on the track. I'm now approaching the pass, and there's a really conical mountain up ahead of me. The weather's getting worse. It's snowing pretty hard. Sleeting down here. It's definitely snowing hard up there. I think discretion might be the best part of valour here. I think there's only one thing to do now, which is retreat to the pub.
Venison burger?
Oh yeah, that's me. Thank you very much. Thank you.